Kim, would you recognize the presence of a quorum, please?
Mayor Miller,
Here.
Nick Barber-Connect,
Here.
you do have a quorum.
Thank you. Having read and reviewed the minutes from the last meeting, I'd like to make a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. Now we'll open the regular meeting. I don't believe there are any edits to the agenda. Is there any corrections? No? Great. All right. On to action item number 2, Midwest Studios and City Westfield Downtown Plan Model, PSA.
Thank you. Good afternoon. For the record, Kevin Todd with the Community Development Department. The item before you today is a professional service contract with Midwest Studios to fabricate and install a 3D model of the new downtown redevelopment plan. This concept came to us during the downtown master planning exercise that we just completed earlier this year. And Midwest Studios was recommended for this work by our consultant for the downtown project, Browning Day. So the model will be made out of a combination of laser cut plastics and metals, as well as some 3D printing materials. It will be built at a 1-inch to 60-foot scale and will sit on top of a 5-foot by 6-foot tabletop platform in the City Services Building. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, thank you. Could you help me understand the purpose of the model?
Yeah, I'll take that. This is a very pet project. It was really just an opportunity for people to actually see and envision what we're trying to do downtown. It's one thing to see it on a computer screen. It's another thing when you can look down and see corridors of roads and buildings and all the things that come with it. So you see this typically. Carmel did this when they did their vision for downtown. I just thought it'd be a good addition to share with our residents.
Okay. Those are all the questions I had on that one. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Now we have action item number 3, Lockmuller Group and Westfield 191st expansion, widening.
Thank you. For the record, Michael Pierce, City Engineer. This item before you is an amendment to our 191st Street Phase 1 design contract. The ask is for an additional $90,000 on top of that existing contract. Just as some justification for why that was needed, a large part of that is for subsurface utility engineering. So there's some pretty critical utilities out there that we wanted to avoid relocation of those utilities from an expense standpoint. So a good portion, about $43,000 of that, is just for subsurface utility engineering associated with that. Some of the other costs associated with that were there were new utilities that were installed between survey of the project and our initial preliminary field check in there. So there was some additional utility coordination effort that was not originally scoped in that contract that we're asking for some additional, the consultants asking for some additional money for on that. And then as well as some redesign effort in coordination with the Harvest Trail project to the north. So there was some tie-in coordination with the roundabout at 191st and Grand Park Boulevard. Part of the plans on that, we needed to coordinate that design, and there was some redesign effort that we feel that was necessary for the consultant to do on that. So, but between those items, the total ask is about $90,000 in addition to the contract, which brings it from $1.37 million to about $1.46 million total, which includes design for the roadway, design for the bridge. With that, we'd ask for the approval on the contract. Dave Hinkle from Lockmuller Group is also in the audience with us if there's additional questions. I'll just note we did have pretty significant negotiations back and forth with the consultant to get this price to where we felt comfortable with the recommendation moving forward. So we feel comfortable with where those prices are for the services rendered. So with that, I'll open up for any questions.
Yeah, just looking at the map, what is it just that the half-mile road is such a big budget that we didn't go all the way west to Spring Mill? Or what's the
Correct.
logic?
Yeah, that is phase 2 of the project. So the idea is once the construction of phase 1 of the project, which is Tomlinson to about Grand Park Boulevard, once that's wrapped up, we would hope to immediately move into construction on phase 2, which goes from Grand Park Boulevard all the way over to Spring Mill. And so there's a different design consultant that's holding a contract on that, and that's currently in design as well.
Cool. That was my biggest question on that one. Any others? All right. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Second, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Michael. Action item number 4, Hendricks County Hospital and Westfield Fire Department Annual Wellness and Fit for Duty Evaluations.
Before you, you have a Hendricks County Hospital contract, and this is to do our medical or annual medical, physical, and reviews, fit for duties, new hires, things like that. We're changing from a company that we used for many years and moving to Hendricks Regional. Not that the other company was doing anything negative or bad, but we do have the opportunity to partner with someone in our community that is already taking care of our firefighters and paramedics with on-the-job related injuries and therapy, and they've partnered with Hendricks Regional and are now offering this as a service and kind of a one-stop shop, if you will. And quite frankly, following the police department's lead. Chief Keene actually had the capabilities to use these folks, and he is pleased with them, so we're excited to join in this partnership.
That's great. That's amazing. No, I don't have any questions on this one. Do you, Mayor?
No.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Seconded. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Number 5, Westfield Firefighters Association and Local 4416 and City of Westfield Agreement.
Yeah, before you is Danielle Carey-Tolan, and you have the firefighters Local 4416 agreement. Historically, this has not come before Board of Public Works, but after looking at it, and it is a contract agreement, this isn't something that the Board of Public Works negotiates with them. It is a mayor and a union contract, and this is just a legality that we think that needs to come before you just for a sign-off. So, but I do have union representatives behind me if you have any questions on it, or Mayor also can answer any questions.
No, I'm assuming there's a final agreement and it's been legally reviewed.
Yes.
Took us a full 12 months pretty much to get here. I think our first meeting my meeting with the union was January, February. It would have been done much faster. SEA 1 kind of put a crimp into things, and we had to go back and recalculate and adjust. But I'm really excited about this contract. I can't say enough how blessed we are in Westfield to have the fire department that we have. Union leadership is fantastic. We don't always agree, but we can always come to a consensus eventually. And I will say this contract puts our firefighters in the top 2 or 3 fire departments in the state. So we built a wall of protection around our fire department. Good luck at other cities trying to come get our guys and gals, and they deserve every penny they're going to make in this contract. So I just want to say congratulations to the firefighters, the union. This was an absolute pleasure working through this. My first union contract as mayor. Union contracts I've dealt with in the past weren't always so pleasant. This was absolute pleasure to do. So congratulations, guys.
Thank you. Well, I'll make a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Action item number 6, Bridge Builder Strategies.
Yes, again, before you is Danielle Carey-Tolan. In front of you is a Bridge Builders Phase 2 strategy agreement. We've finished Phase 1, and just to update you a little bit about what that process was and deliverables, what they did is they took all of the job descriptions and defined those challenges that were in with each job description and created over 1 million data points and took the task across the city and was really able to evaluate how we were spending time and capacity. And now we're able, as a leadership team, are going to be able to use this as a development tool across the organization. So we will be implementing that into our performance evaluations and growth assessments for each job description. So it's identified through the job description, not just the individual as a whole. So this is really a cool process that I'm excited to roll out. We're starting in Phase 2, the training for the leadership team on all this, but this is something that we've worked on very heavily over the last year and a half. For phase two, really though, the main objectives are to roll out the training, also take this modeling and proceed with it into more of a database back-end module that we'll be able to use and develop through the system. So it will become a little bit more active for us as job titles changes and roles change. Also, we're going to be working on frameworking, KPIs, and performance dashboards, like I mentioned, and then also a document management file system that is very crucial to us right now. That's something that they can kind of do on their end rather than us taking staff and time to build out our document management system. So that's just an ongoing effort with them.
And I'm sure this helps in the future as we plan for more growth in the city to meet the growing city's needs.
Yes. Yep.
We can see easily what roles are being filled right now
Yes.
from a high level.
Yeah, with that, with the capacity module part of it, we're able to calculate exactly the time spent and the hour and the dollars amounted to that time. And we can look at that and kind of say, do we need to outsource it versus keeping it in-house?
That's great.
So that will be a future thing in next year as well.
Cool. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Seconded, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you.
We have a minor typographical error on the City of Westfield action item number 7, 2026 Personnel Policies, Procedures Manual, minor revision.
Brady Laux, Director of HR for the record. Just a couple revisions for the 2026 policy manual that was approved last month. Just two different sections, 4.09 regarding the PTO policy. For carryover, we are going to have that only under a special circumstance, and it will have to be approved by the mayor. We also added that for public safety as well, just for the administrative positions. Now, it can be under special circumstance as well for those that are sworn officers and firefighters as well, but it does have to have approval from the mayor. That was one section, and then the other section was in section 7.02 regarding the National Guard, Reserve Duty, and Task Force leave. That was just a miscommunication of what we thought was going to be happening, but it didn't end up taking place. So it is going back to what it already was with 120 hours for that military leave. Those are the two different areas of revision.
Perfect. Makes sense to me. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved?
Seconded, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Action item number 8, an MOU with Hamilton County.
Again, Rob Gaylor, Westfield Fire Department. This is a memorialization act of an agreement that a few of the cities in Hamilton County have had with the county commissioners regarding a software service that we use, and that software is called First Due. We use it for inspections, pre-plans, as well as a bunch of other incidentals. And this is just a MOU with the county, recognizing that they're going to pick up the tab on some of the features that we're using, but not in its entirety. So this is just a ratification of that agreement that's already in place.
Great. Sounds like it's probably a lot cheaper than us both going separate, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense. Do we motion to approve?
So moved?
Seconded, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Now, action item number 9, resolution approving a contract with the City of Westfield and Waste Management of Indiana for residential solid waste, recycling, disposal, yard waste.
John Rogers, Director of Enterprise Development with the city. Before you have a new agreement with Waste Management for the trash pickup and recycling. The agreement will be for 6 years, and I don't really have any other general background. If you have any questions, you have seen the agreement and had a chance to review it. I'm open to questions.
Yeah, no, can you just, I know we've approved this like 3 or 4 times, and it's been a long process. Can you just remind us the process we went through to get here?
We went through a pretty stringent, by statute, there's a pretty stringent set of circumstances that you have to meet, or requirements that you have to meet. The RFP, the process with the board, your group, and the negotiations, all are per statute. So it's one of the more unique requests for proposals in municipal government.
And I can add to that a bit, if that would be helpful. So we first had to do a proposed RFP, accept comments, then issue the final RFP. We received proposals. We had to have a public hearing. People were allowed to come up and speak and give comments on the contract. The administration recommended waste management based on a review of all the proposals. And then you made a motion to allow us to negotiate the contract. I feel like that has taken a while, but we've done our best to find the best terms for that contract, so that's before you now. The last step, it has to be approved via resolution. Again, it's just a very specific statute that's different than other RFPs for just like landscaping services or something like that. So basically, you would select the contractor with the proposal most responsive to the needs of the city. I've drafted a resolution that kind of incorporates everything there. And I'm happy to answer any questions from a legal perspective as well.
No, this sounds great. I think we've been through this a couple times before, and keeping with the same contractor is a good benefit too, on top of all the other ones we've gotten.
Yeah, and let me just add real quickly. One, I think Waste Management has done a really good job over the last probably 4 to 6 months. I've noticed a real decline in complaints and issues that we're having. It's never fun to go into a contract negotiation year. At the same time, you handed over, quite frankly, trash to a new vendor. I mean, Waste Management bought out Ray's, and so you have a whole new company trying to run it. And that creates some hiccups and friction that might have put Waste Management a little bit behind their competitors just in terms of anxiety. But I will say they've really done a great job over the last 6 months. And what I'm most excited about this contract, I don't know if it exists elsewhere, I'm sure it does, but certainly in the city of Westfield, we've never had a trash contract where there's performance metrics established in that contract. So that's why one reason it took so long. I don't think Waste Management's probably used to seeing that kind of stuff in their contracts. It was a little bit of a back and forth, as it should be. But we've got some real good and fair performance matrix to say, hey, if you're missing trash collection, these are the penalties associated with that. So I want our residents to know that we worked really hard to make sure that any inconvenience that happens from their perspective, that there's some accountability attached to it. So
That makes sense. It's a long-term contract, gives us predictability, buys down the cost, but then performance measures to hold it accountable. This sounds great. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution 25-168 for Westfield and waste management for residential waste recycling.
I'll second that.
Motion made, and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Having had a chance to review the consent agenda, I'd like to make a motion to approve it as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda is approved. Department reports. Fire.
It's all about the fire this month.
It has been.
Bunch of hogs. Come on.
It has been, and I'm not going to go through and page by page in the report. Just a couple call-outs. The month of November, we were up over 8.5% in call volume versus 2024. Nothing in particular, just more runs. As of today, at 10 o'clock this morning, when I compared 24 to 25, we're already up 13.7% for the year overall. With that being said, I do want to note that our calls to our care facilities is down 10%. So I know I mentioned earlier in the year that we were in a stopgap of 2 or 3 months. It was almost 20%. So this year I took it as the whole year, time versus time, and there's a 10% difference. That equates to our education piece, and our folks going out there and visiting has actually made an impact. I'm still getting calls and emails almost weekly from other organizations across the country concerning this ordinance that we passed. So it has had a positive impact. I think it's had a positive impact on patient care. I think it's had a positive impact on our employees in the fire department on taking unnecessary runs. And it's had a positive impact on the community. So just wanted to preface with that. By and large,
10% is when you factor in that it was only a portion of the year too.
Yeah.
That's big.
yeah, and that's significant when you stop and look at that, because that 10% number, really, we only started instituting fines at the beginning of October. So we have 2 months where there's a 10% impact. So when we look into the numbers as far as next year, when we get a full year run of that data, you're going to see a major improvement with that. And it's significant because we have 4 more of those facilities coming in the community. So when we take a look at that, and having the ordinance in place gets us at the table to meet and have conversations with the staff before the building comes up out of the ground, to make sure that they get off on the right foot. So other than that, our labor folks have had a heck of a year, negotiations back and forth, and multiple meetings. And so just want to give kudos to the fire department, the organization. It's been a busy year. Got a couple construction projects taking place. We're getting ready to start another one here next year. Completed 2 recruit academies, and it's been a good year. We've been very blessed, but it's been very busy. Happy to answer any questions you folks have.
Awesome. No, that answers all my questions.
Well, just one comment to follow up. I'd heard from several residents around, oh, now the nursing homes are going to be passing that cost off to their patients. I've been working with a few legislators in putting language into a bill that's medically based, that's coming before this session, to ensure that they can't do that. So we're making sure we protect our elderly residents to ensure that our actions have the intended impact on it, which is forcing these care facilities to do a better job of caring for our residents. So,
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Westfield Police.
Afternoon, members of the board. Sean Keane, Chief, Westfield Police Department. I'm going to just briefly do highlights on this, but if we go to our activity log, which will be the first few pages you see, as I mentioned in the previous meetings, one of the things we're going to begin to do in January is separate this so you can see what are actually calls from service versus what is our overall activity. So we'll begin doing that in January, so it'll give you a little better picture on what is actually citizens calling in versus just the overall activity of the department. As we go through the report, keep going one more page, that's all activity. So offenses, if we look in November of this year versus last November, you see we had about 9 fewer reports than we had in November of last year. So there's nothing that stands out other than we have a reduction in the number of crimes that were reported this November versus last November. As we go further down, we look at our arrests of significance there. We made about 8 more arrests this November than we did last November. I'm happy to answer any other questions you have about this report, but those are mainly the highlights. As I said, as we get into next year, I'm going to be able to provide you with better numbers on what are calls for services versus activity. The other thing that we hope to do is we're going to be hiring an intelligence analyst for the first time next year. And we hope to use that as a means to not only provide you with more information, but provide our officers on the road with better information as far as what are the areas within the city, time and geography-wise, that are causing us the most problems, and we'll be able to direct those patrols at those particular problems. Happy to answer any other questions you have of me at this time.
No, looking forward to the detailed reports next year and the changes to it. But yeah, this makes sense to me. Thank you.
yeah, good job. It's been a good year for the police department as well.
Thank
and
you.
I got your contract coming in January, I think. So, yes, no, maybe.
But I met with them today, so probably late January, early February before we'll be in a position after the attorneys go through it to sign it. But yeah.
Nice.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Public Works. You've been bored, right?
Yeah, this is, I haven't had to say a word today. This is great. So a couple items. The Town Road and Old 146th Street roundabout is open since we last met. There's a temporary light plant right there in the middle to illuminate that at night. That'll remain on into mid to late January, I believe. It's last I heard that all the lights are wired and ready to go. It's a matter of Duke, providing or energizing that service point. They've got a timeline in place that they stick to. So we'll have to deal with that temporary light for a few more weeks, and then the regular roundabout street lights will be turned on later in January. Saber 32, Duke is continuing their relocation efforts. There have been a couple of lane restrictions and brief closures this week for some cuts across that roadway with that relocation work. We are working with Duke to get that information out a little bit earlier in advance. Winter is always a little tricky with construction because it is so weather dependent, but we will do our best to get our communications folks that information in a timely fashion so they can get the word out with respect to those lane restrictions. Looking ahead, we have a couple projects. We'll be doing a raised crosswalk on 151st Street in Harmony neighborhood, just east of American Lotus, this winter. We also have a couple bid openings coming up. The Monon Tunnel bid opening is set for January 23rd. So we'll have contractors that will be submitting bids, and we'll be opening those bids on January 23rd for that project. And then the Penn Street Extension project, which is just east of here, that bid opening is tomorrow. So you guys in the January meeting will be hopefully having some contracts in front of you to award some construction on those projects, which we're excited about. And then lastly, snow removal. We've had 2 events already with H&N Outdoor Services, who's our new snow removal contractor for the entire city. As a reminder, they used to do only the north zone for us. They're now doing the full city. Just want to give them a shout out. They have done a really excellent job so far on these first 2 events. We had about 5.5 inches over the weekend, and I believe I received 2 total emails with complaints. And for that amount of snow or that accumulation of snow, to have that few complaints, they're really doing a great job for us so far. So really happy with them. So with that, I'll answer any questions you have.
No, it's early snow this year, it feels like to me. I don't know what numbers say, but
It is early, yes. Hopefully that's not a sign of more to come, but we'll take it as it comes.
Exactly. No, it's been a good experience so far as I've been driving the city. Can you remind me what city plows are responsible for versus the contractor?
Yeah, so the contractor is strictly for publicly owned neighborhood streets, so in your residential subdivisions, and only at a 3-inch trigger. So when we get 3 inches of snow, that's when we send out the contractors to mobilize in the neighborhoods. There's some wiggle room there. We look at kind of the temperatures around that snowfall as well and what we expect to see. Anything less than that, though, generally the city is doing all of that work. And then on 3-inch or higher, when we were sending the contractors out to neighborhoods, the city plows are doing all of our thoroughfares, our main roads. That's our focus for these types of events, to make sure that those larger thoroughfares are maintained clear and safe for travel.
Cool.
I'll add as well that, yeah, I didn't get, usually before I became mayor, I loved snow. Absolutely hate it now. The calls, I even get people who don't even have my line, Facebook message me now. When I get snow, I go to my Facebook, I'm like, oh, I got 8 messages, and I know what they're all about. But I got no complaints for the last snow issue, so that was just unbelievable job. I don't think people appreciate how stressful it is to have those big trucks on the road, especially when it's a day snow like we had on a weekend. I was one of the idiots out driving all over the place because I had all kinds of events to be at, and it was a lot of cars on the road, which just compounds the problem for our truck drivers. But they did an amazing job, so congratulations to that. I do have one question. The Green Building, where are we at with that? I just want to continue to...
I've never heard of this.
Monthly question about the Green Building, yes.
It's so much fun to read the comments on Facebook. I just want to keep it out in the public sphere. So
you probably have noticed it has been rewrapped. Our contractor is actually actively working on that building now. So
I saw
they
that,
have mobilized onto the site. What they're doing, they wrapped the building for protection purposes first. They're working on replacing the timber sill beams, so the beams on the bottom of the building that were original timber, we are replacing those with new white oak beams. That they're actually doing that work as it's jacked up on site. It's easier to do it then, and then that allows them to make sure the building is square, to get detailed measurements for the foundation work and the basement excavation and concrete basement wall dimensions for the eventual move. So they are actively working on that project right now, and as soon as Duke is underground, we have our building movers lined up, and if all goes to plan, that'll be one seamless move from that location onto the new basement foundation. So in January, you'll see some excavation work and some of that basement foundation pouring happening in advance of the overhead electric going underground.
When's the line supposed to be dropped?
Duke has told us early February at this point, so they're kind of maintaining their original schedule at this time.
Good.
So, like I said, weather pending, winter is always a tough time to be doing some of this work, but we'll keep you updated if anything changes.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Seconded. Motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.